When it comes to small EV cars, they tend to be cute and just carry a few passengers from point A to B. With this all-new Kaiyi e-Qute 04, the brand aims to shake up things in the segment, and special thanks to Kaiyi Auto Philippines for making this land-out review possible. And I believe I am the first ever to make such content on a long term with this vehicle. And first of all, with the name itself, this looks so dang cute. The front clip does look like with some of the Cupra models. I cannot literally unsee that now. The e-Qute 04 is Kaiyi's entry level here in the Philippines, and as well their only EV in this segment. And they have come with a bang too, because this has a total range of 410 kilometers with the price of less than 1 million pesos. I'll get to the exact figures later on. So with this vehicle, you do get a lot for your money. So you have LED lights all around, and they are very, very powerful at night. So one of the best ones I've tried out in this segment so far. And you have a ground clearance of 120 millimeters, which is common in this class of vehicle. And on the side profile, this car is so small, it literally fits in one frame. And these are running on 165, 65 and 15-inch tires, and they have hubcaps on them. Reminds me that of my former daily car. And two, you have door-mounted side mirrors with repeaters and cameras underneath. Let's not get too excited yet. I'll get back to that later on. Powering this massive behemoth. So this is actually a version 2 of the e-Qute 04, well, technically a second variant, because the version 1 has a range of 300 kilometers and a much smaller battery, around 29 kilowatt hours. But this one, we have here a 39.8 kilowatt hour battery that produces a total of 40 horsepower and 110 newton meters of torque. So those figures alone, this is much more powerful than that of the Jetor Ice Cream, VinFast VM3, Bastion Pony, and the other 5-door that I reviewed way back when. But it's not as powerful as the BYD Seagull and the Chang'an Lumin. But at least this sits right in the middle of its competition. And I will say it again, this has a total range of 410 kilometers. Again, one of the best range, under 1 million pesos. Back here on the side profile, hence the name of this vehicle, it's literally a very, very cute car. And as you can see, you have pop-out door handles, similar that of Jetor vehicles. And speaking of, to those who do not know what Kaiyi or who Kaiyi are rather, this is actually part of the Cherry umbrella family tree. So yes, we have another Cherry brand here in the Philippines, made out of plastic, the body structure. But for this e-Qute, look at that. Everything here is metal. So I do not talk about this that much. So if I walk away from the vehicle, it will lock itself. But if I go back, it will unlock itself. One of the, I think, if not mistaken, 2 vehicles in this segment that has keyless entry and exit. As for the rear of this Kaiyi e-Qute, so back with the body panels, this one's plastic, this one's steel, including for the tailgate itself. So reminds me that of Isuzu vehicles. This part of the e-Qute 04 kind of design, and then you can see the Kaiyi logo itself. Then I like they did some things here at the rear, because some of the small EVs in this country just slap things on it. But this one, there's a little bit of finesse too, because you have a spoiler here that actually functions, so we can literally insert papers or whatnot over there, and you have hilariously a diffuser just down below. Along too, you have LED tail lights, and this light is actually your rear fog lamp, which is actually pretty cool, and the only one in its segment, if I believe so. And the right side is actually your reverse light. Then open the boot up. So being an extended version with some of the small EV vehicles in this segment, so you have a total here of 237 liters, which means I can fit here and sit down pretty much easily, because the rest cannot do this whatsoever. It's not the most spacious out there. A daily use and overall packaging rather is actually really, really, and it will double, of course, once you fold all of the seats down. I think this is more or less 500 liters. Underneath, there's just an EWD warning device, so I don't think there's a spare tire for this after all. With some cuteness, responsibility, sorry for the pun. Overall, here in the interior, everything is super simplistic and cute at the same time. Here in the door cards, surprisingly, you get leather soft pads here around in the window switches, even up to your elbows, and can literally fit small water jugs and bottles here on either side, which I find really cool. Here on the left side, you get your side mirror adjustments and headlight leveler adjustments. This is how you open the vehicle, and it's hilarious, they didn't even bother removing the engine word on the button itself, but hey, at least it functions. So this is all of your stuff. So you have your instrument cluster with just few adjustments and information only. Again, shout out to Edian1011 brain camera. So once you start with this vehicle, after a short while, it will always start in sport mode, but after a long while, example, you sleep and then wake up like 10 hours later, it will start off in normal mode. So I do not know why it doesn't start off in Eco or Eco Plus. So again, these are your driving modes. More on that later on. You can adjust the driving modes here in the car settings, or swipe this down, or swipe this down, or swipe this down. Yeah, it's a bit laggy. You can see all of your driving mode now. So just leave it an Eco Plus. And for me, the best mode with this vehicle. And all of your light controls are here too. You have onboard Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connectivity as well. And then if you want the screen off, just do that and turn back on. Just do it with the touch. Steering wheel, really nice. It's polyurethane. And then here are your buttons for your adjusting the instrument cluster, and for your phone connectivity buttons on the right side. Very simple. I really like it. And this is your column shifter. Very Mercedes-like. And this gives it a little bit more of a premium touch now than usual, because most of the small EVs have a rotary shifter or conventional shifter itself. Below the infotainment system, you get 2 air conditioning vents and controls for your AC, including an around view monitor, the only one in its class that has a 360-degree camera. And the response time and resolution is very good for what this is. It's even better than one of the Japanese brands. I will not name that for obvious reasons. And if you put it in 2D mode, look at this. You have a front corner camera and a rear corner camera, the only one I know of in this segment that has this feature. So this is already a big plus. However, though, this does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You have CarBit mirror link. Disclaimer, I will not be able to demo this one because everything's still set here in Chinese. But at least, in case you already have the Philippine spec one, you have onboard navigation. I cannot wait to try out on how this works on the Philippine spec versions. And more stuff here in the infotainment system. You have your Bluetooth sounds and all that. And remember, this has 6 speakers all around, and one of the best speakers of any small EVs. You can as well adjust your climate controls in the infotainment system, but at least there's a dual type. And more settings here for your car. Again, you can do your driving modes, and as well for Eco Plus and Eco, you cannot change the region braking, but for normal and sport you can do, and among other features with this vehicle. And unlike with majority of the small EVs in this segment, the pedals are not offset, so it's really a comfortable driving position. Even the steering wheel is perfectly placed. Yes, there's no adjustments whatsoever, but the moment I sat in here, I was comfortable from the get-go. And being an EV, there's no transmission-ish tunnel whatsoever, but here in the middle, you have a small pocket, along two with one of each Type A, Type C, USB port, 12-volt socket, and more cubby space. And as mentioned, you have no transmission tunnel. I can just transfer here back and forth with ease. And you can see literally on shot, this has a central armrest. This is such a mood. And yes, everyone might say there's only one, but I sat here in the passenger side. It's literally perfect for 2, so you can go holding hands. Yeah, you can, yeah, whatever. Here in the center console, you have 2 cup holders, and actually I put my phones in just shades here since there's no compartment just above here. But look at this, you have an extra place here in the middle. You can literally put your bags here. Perfect for a Starbucks run, I guess. And the seats here too are a lovely touch. Kind of like mimics a bit of sport seats, but it's so soft and very comfortable to sit in as well. Glove box, okay, pretty decent. And above here, you have a halogen lights, sun visor. You have vanity mirror, but no lights, but it's fine. Yeah, this is the issue too with small EVs. I cannot cover my eyes whatsoever. Wait, try again. Nope, very far. And the best part of this Kaiyi e-Qute 04 is this panoramic moonroof. and the only one in the segment that has a moonroof. And best part of this Kaiyi e-Qute for being a 5-door small EV vehicle, the space here is actually legendary for what this is. Even though despite the panoramic moonroof, I have this much headroom. So remember, I am only 5'4". Here in the door card, pretty much the same like the ones in front. You get smaller cubby spaces, but at least you can fit very small bottles. And behind both front seats, you only can see this actually in MPVs. You have triple map pockets on either side, so perfect for putting brochures and all that. And if I sit here in the middle, actually a very weak transmission tunnel, but actually it's very spacious and very comfortable to sit here wherever at the rear. And yeah, pretty basic here. There's no central armrest, but at least you have the whole world. Oh, you have an extra cubby space too in the middle, along too with your Kaiyi logo. Okay, I'm done. Everyone might ask, how does this Kaiyi e-Qute 04 perform? So here, just in Eco Plus mode, yeah, it gets up to speed really quickly. So remember, Eco Plus mode is only set to 62 kilometers per hour, which I find really handy since we're just driving here around in Green Hills and in EDSA. So yeah, I literally was in this mode the entire time because I didn't need sport mode at all. Yeah, sport mode is just a little bit more responsive. I've only used that once on the highway, and the rest, this car taught me how to be a little bit more patient than usual, because this is not meant to be like with other sports cars or fast cars that I've driven. This one is meant to be smooth and efficient. Of course, like with every other EV review, one might ask, how's the charging of this Kaiyi e-Qute 04? Well, this one's a little bit tricky since the charging ports of this vehicle are all GBT. So first, and the most obvious answer, we have at Eco Oil EDSA, where I used the 20 kilowatt charging station. It took 1 hour and 27 minutes to charge from 19% all the way up to 61%. Then we have Arcovia Pasig at the parking lot. So remember, that's the only free charging station for all GBT vehicles, and I used that quite a lot. So from that, it was quite slow since it was only charging at around 6 kilowatts. So it took 3 hours and 8 minutes to charge from 37 all the way up to 78%. So you notice the pictures alone. Yeah, the charging rate of this Kaiyi e-Qute 04 is kind of slow. So if you're planning to buy this vehicle, I suggest you need to plan ahead for your journeys, and I would just recommend charging this vehicle at home. Now, charging aside, how does this Kaiyi e-Qute 04 compare against the small electric vehicles? And what surprised me the most, besides this, literally doing a U-turn, and you can complete it in under almost 3 lanes, and the ride of this vehicle, it's really smooth for what this is, and compared with the other small EVs, this is kind of like a long wheelbase version. The only thing I can compare to this is the BAW Pony L, hence L being long, large. Yeah, so basically this e-Qute 04 is available too in a 3-door, guys, but we do not get it here in the Philippines. It's good to know that Kaiyi Philippines brought this 5-door version because, as mentioned, it's much more practical. And when my friends were driving this along, I was sitting there at the rear. It's pretty much comfortable throughout. And here's a bump test around Green Hills, my usual driving spot. Yeah, you can feel a little bounce here and there, but it's very much tolerable. I really commend the ride of this e-Qute 04, hence the name itself. It's really cute, and the color. Excuse me. Driving this on the highway is actually a surprise too. So remember, the top speed of this is 100 kilometers per hour, but I tried it out. You can just go a little bit faster than that, like with some of the other small EVs too. At 100 kilometers per hour, it's very stable, although there's a lot of tire noise and wind noise like with its stable mates. But unlike with some like the Jetour Ice Cream, and I assume only with the VFT, this has little bit less wind noise than usual, because remember, this has somewhat like a sloping windscreen. So driving this at faster speeds, you won't have an issue whatsoever. And this Kaiyi e-Qute 04 literally feel so at home here at the city. It's a very, very nice city slicker. You have literally all the range in the world as 410 kilometers as stated by Kaiyi Auto Philippines. So in the 7 days I have had this vehicle, so I was only getting close to 300 kilometers per hour. Remember, I am driving this like a normal car. So I am very proud that you can go more than 300 kilometers if you're just driving a little bit more efficient rather than my sporty kind of driving. And one might think about this E-Qute 04 is the very light steering wheel, and you'd be right, but not too bad. It's very responsive like with every other small EV. But the best way to describe it, thanks to my friends James Malubay and Alberto Des of Shift Swim Racing, to my fellow sim racing buddies, it's kind of like literally a Logitech G29 steering wheel. You can even hear the motor doing its thing. That's how light this thing feel is. And if this is going to be your first car, yeah, it's going to be very, very easy to drive. And at 958,000 pesos, this is literally like in the ballpark of all the small EVs. So the closest one I can compare it to, besides the Bestune Pony L, I just remember one other competitor, the Wuling Bingo. But what I know, that only has a range of 333 kilometers. This one can do, as stated, 410 kilometers. And with that price alone, this is pretty much worth it for what this is. And again, I'd like to thank everyone here at Kaiyi Auto Philippines for the lend out of this Kaiyi e-Qute 04. It's a very good small EV, and probably as a second car for me around in the city, as a city slicker rather, this is literally perfect. Again, hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more Kaiyi reviews coming right up. Bye-bye.